listening to the Los Rotos Podcast with Vanessa Scaduto. Produced by Upside Down Creative Media. Welcome to Los Rotos Podcast again, guys. This is Vanessa Scaduto, and today my guest is CJ Couch. He's also a local Jacksonville comedian. What's up, CJ?
Thank you for having me. This is sick. This setup is sick.
Well, it's sick that you're here. I'm so happy to have you here, man. So basically, I just want kind of people to get to know you who probably haven't seen you perform or do anything. Like
everybody.
No, that's not true. You're pretty fucking funny. If you haven't seen CJ, you should definitely go and take a look. He has a Thursday. He hosts a show basically at CBD Cafe in Mandarin. Awesome spot.
Yeah.
Give it up for Sienna. She runs that place with the.
Yeah, basically, my name's CJ Couch. I'm born and raised here. I'm 29 and I do comedy, and the Thursday mic has turned into like, I can't believe how many people come, like audience members.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty amazing. Actually, I'm also surprised at the age range.
It's so weird.
It is, but it could be just because it's not a bar.
I think, yeah. And also, like, I don't know, but it's like for the first time in my life, I actually feel old. Like talking to them.
I know.
Like these kids are born after 9/11.
Right.
So like doing a 9/11 reference, which, I mean, how often does that even happen? But to see them not like even get it at all is so crazy to me. Like they fascinate me, the stuff they laugh at.
Well, I had that one head joke, Roadhead, and the kid's like, I don't know what that is. And I was like, I thought he was fucking with me. I was like, you know what head is? And he goes, no. And I go, do you know what a fucking blowjob is, dude?
Dude, have you gotten one, bro?
I was like, I hope you're over 18 because this conversation is not happening.
We're getting in trouble.
I was like, what the fuck?
So you can bring your dog if you'd like to. And there's like this little dog there and this girl, like, I'm like, how old's your dog, you know? She said, 3 years old. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, I've had my dog for 9 years. Like, it's like a part of who I am. And she's like, yeah, I got it at 14. And I was like, you're 17 years old. Like, how do you know about this? Like, when I was 17, I knew nothing of like open mic comedy.
Yeah,
that's cool.
I knew about comedy. I just didn't realize you could go to open mics or something.
I loved comedy.
Yeah, I loved comedy.
But like, I never knew of, I guess, the underground of like what it takes to become a comic.
But I think it's also technology now because like I'm a decade older than you, and I'll tell you what, like the amount of punk shows we used to go to, that there was no Facebook event. We just word of mouth, or we would go to let's say I lived near Tampa, so like in Ybor, we'd go down to, I think it's called Ophirium or something. They're moving now, but we would go there and see what shows are coming. Like we had to physically go to the spot to look at what their event list was, or maybe look at the newspaper. Like literally go in the newspaper and look at what is coming up.
I've been like really thinking about the metaverse and all that, and like I wish I had a bunch of money and the understanding of like coding, because like if you could. Like now, like, okay, I work in construction. I do wallpaper and I paint and stuff. Mm-hmm. To be able to figure out how to build homes in the metaverse where you're a construction worker in the metaverse and you're designing homes, because people are going to...
No, but did you hear
there's so much money to be made.
They're selling actual lots in the metaverse.
Exactly.
Like somebody spent like $2.3 million to have a lot next to Snoop Dogg's lot. I was like, what?
It's so ridiculous.
I was like, how do I buy real estate in there? Because these dumb fucks are going to buy, fake real estate.
Exactly. But you become a developer.
Right.
For the neighborhood. You build neighborhoods and sell the homes.
Yeah, I was even going to actually talk to my producer, Marshall, about this, because I was like, if we could actually somehow host the podcast in the metaverse.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like be one of those first time. Like that is legit. Like somebody will go there and watch it or whatever.
1,000%. And
so I have been looking into it. It's just I'm getting nervous because I already feel we're in a simulation, and I'm like, are we creating another simulation within our simulation?
Yeah, exactly.
We're just like simulate. Like
I love talking about all this shit.
Good, because we're gonna get there. Because I was gonna ask you too, but let's go back to like, because you're talking about you didn't know about open mics or whatever. But what made you get into comedy besides trauma?
So I know. The way to express it. I've always loved comedy, like, and with the XM radio stuff, like Raw Dog Radio and all that, every family vacation I've ever been on, we would get XM just for the trip.
Oh, okay.
So we would listen to comedy the entire time. So like as a family, we would always listen to comedy. My parents were cool, so I was like not listening to like Laugh USA and like edited stuff. So I got like at a young age able to see like or hear good comedy. And then I only watched Nickelodeon and Comedy Central and like ESPN as a kid. That's it. So like I saw all those specials coming up. So I'd always loved it. But then I never considered doing it. But I thought it would be cool, but I never understood the path.
Right, like how do you do something like that?
Exactly. And then I had friends telling me to do it when I was like 18. And then from listening to Alex Jones's shit in like 2011.
It's so funny.
It's so funny. So like
it's so hilarious. I don't know why people take him so seriously because
exactly.
he's like Trump, you know, it's just laugh at it, dude.
It's so funny. It's so funny. And like then there's these like bits of real shit that he's talking about that you're like, what the fuck? Like the Bohemian Grove shit specifically.
Right.
That video, whenever it came out, obviously I wasn't into it then, but years later it like resurfaced on YouTube and it got me. And I started listening to him on like my iPad through the podcast app. He had a show on there every day. And this is like 2011, 2012. And then Recommended For You came up, and it was Joe Rogan.
Okay.
So I started listening to Rogan, and he had all comics on talking about the path to do it. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, shit. Like, I get it. But then I was just a chicken.
Right.
And then...
Which I'm surprised, because you seem so comfortable out there.
But also, this is like me now. This is when I was 20.
Oh, okay.
And I've done a podcast for years and hosted it myself and did solo episodes. So like now I'm very comfortable doing stuff like this, getting on stage. But back then I had no experience doing that. Like the one time I'd been on stage was for like a baseball team. We won the championship. So we had a big party and I sang O-Town Liquid Dreams, like performed it at Monkey's Uncle. For like the
was it
team.
good? I mean, did you do good?
No, it was so like looking.
Were you drunk or something? Or
I was 8 years old.
Oh, like, you were 8. Okay, I thought you were.
Looking back on it, I looked like the gayest little 8-year-old kid of all time. I was like dancing, singing boy band music. Like I had frosted tips. It was sick, dude. It was pretty badass. Yeah.
I was gonna say that's right.
And then I never got on stage again until I bombed for my first time. So
you didn't do any kind of arts before that, like anything else creative or anything?
I mean, I've played guitar for.
Oh yeah.
Since I was 10 years old.
But never like performed in front of people with
No. I mean, me and Dean were in a band actually. Dean
I didn't know that.
It was not serious at all. But we did like create a song and shit.
What does Dean wait. What does Dean play?
Bass.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. So he was playing bass. I was on guitar. This other kid was on guitar. And this other kid played drums.
Maybe we should just make a comic band.
Be so sick.
I did. I was
fun.
a trained musician, so that's why I was like.
See, I'm good at guitar. Like if I play guitar, you'd be like, oh, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
But I taught myself. I'm an only child.
Right.
Other than the brief stint with Dean, I've never played with other people. So it's really hard for me to play with other people. Like
jamming?
Just playing like 4 bars of the same thing over and over is so boring to me.
Yeah.
You know, like I just want to fuck around. So like it's really hard for me to like get creative through music with other people. Okay. I suck at it.
I think you do. But
I've jammed at CBD after. Sienna's dad plays drums.
Okay.
Like if you wanted to, any Thursday after, we could play music till 2 a.m.
Oh, okay.
Like he's cool.
Yeah, I'm just old now. Like that sounds tiring to me.
It's so tiring.
I think it's also as a comic, you know, that like you're hosting it, so you're already going to say whatever the fuck you want, like best. Whatever. But when you're the comic who knows that you only got 5 minutes and you know that crowd's kind of weird. It's a different kind of crowd because you're not sure exactly who's going to show up, the age range, how you're going to be able to relate to them. They're
so hard. Like
I've had to tell them to wake up. I was like, you're too young to look this tired and not
exactly.
involved.
But they don't leave.
Yeah.
So they look like they're not having a good time.
But they stay.
And it's a packed room, and they're just staring at you.
I think it's just all the kava and everything.
I honestly think it's like there's no alcohol there. Mm-hmm. They're not even old enough to drink anyways.
Right.
So they're just super stoned. I really think that's what it is.
Yeah,
they're all super stoned, and they're sitting there. And then they're like, a lot of them are on dates, I've noticed.
Yeah, I did notice that too. There's couples that come in. Mm-hmm.
And I think they're all just trying to be cool.
Yeah,
you know
maybe it's because we're older. We don't give a fuck anymore. Like, because, I mean, obviously the comics, we get stoned, but I think that just makes us funnier. We just get even more involved into it. And
there's definitely a level. Like, if I get too stoned, so sometimes I'll have an edible and I will eat it, like right before the show. Mm-hmm. And like when it kicks in, when it's too much, I get like 2 in my head and I like cannot progress a sentence because I think I'm saying something stupid and they know, even though they have no fucking idea what's going on.
Have you ever tried hemp milk?
No. Okay. Oh, yes.
Yeah,
I used to make it all the time.
This one was like a particular brand that you could buy in California. I don't know if they make it anymore only because the laws changed where you can only have 100 milligrams. But this bottle would look like a 5-hour power size bottle and it would have 1,000 milligrams in it. Okay.
Jesus.
So their serving size was the cap. You just pour the cap in. So I hadn't had it before, right? And I was visiting from Florida before I moved to California. Obviously, I'm back. But and my friend was like, be careful. Just be careful. So I took a cap, waited 30 minutes, kind of felt something. But when he wasn't looking, I was like, fuck it, I'm taking another cap.
And that's a whole double dose.
It's at least 200 milligrams, right?
Yeah, you're right.
And so my friend falls asleep. I'm watching some weird detective thing. I wish I could remember the actual name. But as I'm watching it, like I could hear their thoughts and they were each telling each other, you're full of shit. Like I was just like the universe was going like, I was literally reading people's thoughts going, oh, they're all full of shit. Everybody's just full of shit.
Yes. You broke down the universe.
I haven't been that high though in a long time because I guess my tolerance went up. So
yeah, that's a big thing. Me too. I haven't been that high in a long time except for on Thanksgiving. So my girlfriend is not like a weed smoker at all, like at all. So like if she hits my bong once with a little hit, she's giggling and we're having like the most fun, like that old high school level of being stoned where everything's the best. So it's hard for me to get there, but I ate 2 edibles that I'd made and smoked a bunch of weed. And I was watching the Cowboys game and like I got so like into it that I was like, this is literally like watching 2 teams. This is like 2 war, like a battle going on. And there's like these coaches orchestrating stuff from up here and they're looking down on the battlefield and they're all watching. And I started laughing like the hardest I've ever laughed in my life at like how ridiculous it was.
Yeah.
Because I heard the punt, like the punter punted it. And it sounded like a bomb going off because he punted the shit out of it. And it just got me thinking, like, this is like a way for us to, I don't know, like alleviate the primal urges of mankind. Like it was so, dude, I cried laughing so fucking hard. And it felt so good. And like, if you think weed's bad, like fuck you. Like that was the happiest I've like ever been.
I was like, I have, that's the same concept basically. It's like you somehow reach into the universe that high and you go, oh, that's right. This is all bullshit.
Yeah,
like this is all fucking orchestrated.
Which can be a problem.
Yes, it can. Because you're like, why didn't I slip my wrist then?
Yeah, it's like, don't take yourself too serious,
right.
But like somewhat serious, Because when everything literally means nothing to you, then like, what's your motivation for doing anything?
Yeah, that's, I've struggled with that my whole life.
Yeah,
really.
It's really hard.
It really is, especially when you have like trauma and PTSD. Like, I know like there's always a theme with comics having that, there's one comic we know, Alex, I'm going to have him on because I want to really delve into it with him, but he always says he has nothing wrong with him. Mm-hmm. And I was like,
We'll see about that.
That was just like Chris D'Elia, nothing wrong, but now he's a sex addict.
Exactly.
I was like, I knew it. I knew
it's like,
that.
of course he's weird. I think like trauma makes you more self-aware.
Yeah. Well, if you internalize stuff, I think, but some people.
But I think like a person like that kid or Alex, whatever, I think like for him who has nothing wrong, he's still probably like the same level of self-aware we are, to where it's like almost detrimental. Like I used to not be self-aware at all. Like I had a really awesome life. Like I couldn't, like when I hear my friends talking about like milestones in their life, like when you lost your virginity, they're like talking about what they were thinking and all this stuff. And like I wasn't present for like anything in life.
So you just disassociated from everything?
I feel like I don't know if it like,
or did you have a lot of privileges and so you didn't have to really
like I didn't have to like
worry about
literally anything. And then until I like really did. But like I was never self-aware, and it freaked me out because I remember distinctly being in my dorm at UNF, and my roommate was telling me about like the time he lost his virginity, and I had no like, I don't remember anything that I was thinking when I lost my virginity. And like I was fucked up and I was 14, but still.
Right. But were you excited? Could you remember being excited?
Like,
and
it was great and everything, but I mean like he was like explaining like he really remembered the moment. Like I could tell you the story and it'd be a great story, but I mean like he knew what he was thinking. He was like present and self-aware and for everything we ever talked about in life. And I never was, and it freaked me out. I'm
trying to think, too, if I was that present when I lost my virginity. I don't know. I mean, I guess.
But now I'm too present.
Yeah. Like yes. I understand that.
There's like.
But you're also, I think comics, we tend to observe everything.
Oh, yeah.
Like to the minute detail, because sometimes that minute detail is the funny.
Oh, yeah.
You know, especially watching strangers, how they interact with themselves. Like.
It's the best.
Yeah, well, because I think as comics, we don't act anyway. We are who we are. We're pretty straightforward who we are. And that sometimes is not always a good thing because we don't.
I think it would be hard.
Our social ways are a little bit different, but that's why I love the comics because I don't have to worry.
We're just, exactly. Like comedian, the relationship I have with the other comedians supersedes any relationship I've ever had with friends for life. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy. But I don't know, like I feel like it'd be hard to like be in a relationship with us because like we are so observant. So like if my girlfriend or something, I can see something I said bothers her. It might not even be that big of a deal. Like it might not be bothering her enough that it's worth mentioning and like bringing up and talking about. But like I noticed it, so now I got to be like, what is wrong? She's like, nothing. And I'm like, no, like, and then I already know what I said that made her mad. And then
so you're like a lawyer, you know the answer.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I want to hear you get to the bottom of this. Right. But it's like, why am I doing that? You know?
Well, my boyfriend's an artist, and I think too, I think as an artist in general, you should be observant of stuff. So it's like, he does the same thing. He'll notice, sometimes he just knows my energy.
Yeah.
But there's times I don't even know why I'm upset sometimes. So I just tell him, I'm not sure, you're right, I am, but it's nothing to do with you. Yeah, it's really just, I'm probably internalizing something subconsciously. Like when I figure it out, I'll let you know kind of thing. But that's also years of therapy.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean? Instead of just going, well, you said this, but it's like, nah, that really wasn't the issue. There's something else deeper than that. And it's probably not even that person. It's probably something that person said that triggered something else. Because there's so much fucking trauma, especially as a woman. It's a little different, you know, like growing up and.
Yeah, it's got to be.
Well, these kids nowadays, they got all these women have more help than we did as girls. Like.
Also, though, I feel like being a girl, like girls my age, like with the internet and stuff, there's like older, inappropriate, creepy dudes.
Yes.
Flocking to them.
Right.
And that was like, I can't imagine what it's like now. Like, it's got to be, like, to be a girl in high school and have an Instagram that isn't private is fucking crazy to me.
Right.
Like, that's
because you'll still get messages regardless. Because I'll tell you what, I get messages from random people all the time.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're not even that creepy. It'll be like, I don't know who you are. I just want to tell you look good. And I'm like, what are you even talking about? If you look at most of my posts, it's not like I'm half naked in all of them. I'm not even, like, maybe you'll see my face every 10 pictures.
You're like selling clothes.
I was like, I sell clothes, or I put a beat up, like that I was working on, like something like that. But it's like, it's crazy to me to think that I'm, part of me is like, good for you to try to shoot your shot, man. But like, if you want any relationship of substance, you got to know that person first. You don't just slide into their DMs unless they're on like some dating website. I get it, but there's a mutual motivation there. There's not like just because it's on Instagram doesn't mean this is a free service, dude, that you can just pop into my DMs.
Exactly.
And
it's like what?
I didn't need your compliment. I mean, like
I feel like it never works.
I don't know though. I mean, I feel like there are some women that respond. There has to be, because I feel like it's a numbers game.
Yeah.
It has to be a numbers game.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. In my life of having social media, I've obviously been super fucked up and sliding in DMs at 3 a.m.
Right.
Just every single, and they do respond. But like, this is what happens. I'm going to break it down. This is exactly every dude sliding in every DM when it's late at night. You are fucked up. You are throwing a Hail Mary out there, hoping that this girl is online and will respond in that moment.
Right.
Because when she doesn't respond until she wakes up like a regular person at 8, 9 in the morning.
Right.
And then you wake up at noon and check it. You're done. Right, you're not going after that anymore. Yeah. So she did respond, but
the moment's
it's over. And you regret it, and you hate that you did it, and you don't respond. Like, it never happens. That's what I mean. Like, it never happens. Like, they do respond.
Right.
But you're never going to message someone at 3 a.m. and respond to their story where they look like a little promiscuous, if you will, and be like, oh, whatever. She's not going to respond 10 minutes later. Like, you're going to whack off and go to sleep. Yeah, right. That's where this leads.
That's usually.
So, like, anytime you get a DM in the middle of the night, that's what's happening. That's exactly.
It's funny because my friends will DM me and go, what are you doing? These are close friends of mine. Yeah. I'm like, I was sleeping, bro. You should know me by now.
Yeah, I'm sleeping.
And I don't think they're trying to be creeps. I think they just are probably out partying, probably want to hang out or whatever.
Yeah.
But I do think it's funny that they still think I'm going to be up just because they're doing rails of coke or something.
Exactly. It's like, I was
like, I don't even do coke with you, so why would you think I'd be
Exactly. Like, I'm not on coke. You think I want your coked out ass to come bother me all night?
No, we're not hanging out, dude.
It's so, like, people on coke.
I was like, to each his own, but I'm not in that realm. I'm just going to pass the fuck out. I was like, I passed out at like midnight, man. And I'm old now. Like, I'm not old, but listen, I drank last night and I woke up vomiting this morning. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't do that normally. I just didn't eat enough. I'm old. Like, I can't hang anymore. It wasn't even that bad. I just all of a sudden got nauseous. I don't even feel like physically horrible.
It's the drinking.
Yeah.
I cannot drink. Last night after golf, we went to Outback and I had a Jameson and ginger ale and it was like really good. And I drank like most of it.
Yeah,
and
I know
felt
you like your Jameson. But.
Yeah, I felt awesome.
Right.
And then all of a sudden I drank like too much, which was still just that one drink. And I instantly got like super tired. Like, I don't see how people can like drink for
every day too.
For long periods of time too.
Well, so yesterday, like I ate something and I had a few beers, but like I had a friend offer me a shot and that was what happened, is because I don't normally drink alcohol or liquor anymore because I'm getting older and I feel like shit the next day.
It's gnarly, yeah.
And I was right again, that I felt like I hadn't even drank in a long time. And then I drank last night for the first time and I was like midnight. I was already home.
Yeah,
it's not over. Even like I was all night.
Yeah.
Woke up 8:45 this morning. All of a sudden, drink some water. Then I gotta go throw up. And I'm like, why?
My alcohol's like so gross. Mm-hmm. Like, it doesn't taste good. I like being buzzed. Like, it's so fun. But I hate the process of it. So I actually only like take shots. Like, if I was like drinking, like if I'm like out with my friends or whatever and we go to a bar, I don't order a drink. Like, I only order shots. So I'll order 2 shots right away.
Right.
And then take those. And then we'll see what happens after that.
Right.
Because if I get a drink in my hand, all that's going to happen is it's going to get watered down because ice is going to melt.
Oh, so
like, I don't enjoy the taste.
I enjoy the taste of beer, like specific beers. Obviously, not like Natty Light or something like that.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like, I'm not an IPA person either, though. I'm not saying I have to have that kind of stuff. But I do generally enjoy the taste of beer. It's just
I hate it.
See, I like it, but I totally get when people don't. Like, it's not.
I did as a kid, which is weird. Like, when I was like 16, I loved beer. Like, it was something I looked forward to with my friends. I really liked a cold beer. And now, like, I have not drank a beer. I'm not bullshitting you. I haven't drank a full beer in probably like 5 or 6 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Actually, when I think about it, I've only seen you with liquor, actually.
I only drink liquor. Like,
Yeah.
I don't drink beer at all.
See, I used to drink liquor, and I stopped doing that because I was just, also I was going through depression. I was like, this is not good. This is just another downer that I'm not supposed to be.
I noticed I can get, like, into drink. Like, I had to stop, kind of. So I got, like, clean or whatever and started drinking. This is, like, last summer, and I was drinking like a lot, and I never thought I'd be able to do that because I've always hated it.
Right.
But then I just started like, now I had all this money that I was normally spending on dumb shit.
Right.
So like I had all this money to where going out and spending $60 is a shitload of alcohol for one person.
Yes, that's
But like to me, I was spending triple that a day, you know? So it was like, okay, it felt like this is so cheap. You go out and get like chips and salsa, and I take my shots.
Right.
And then I realized, holy shit, like I'm doing this a lot. It affected my stand up where I was like, because a couple of times I destroyed when I was like wasted.
Right.
Like had great sets.
I've done that only a handful of
Yes.
times. Then there's other times that just you forget
it's
shit.
It's so reckless.
Yes, it's very reckless.
It's so like you are not consistent, but you do have that capability to crush it, but you also could completely go down in flames. Like
usually by the time we hit Rain Dogs, if I've had too much beer, it's going to go down in flames. I know that now.
Yeah,
I know that now. Like I'm just like, because by the time I even get up there, I'm already been waiting for a couple hours at Rain Dogs. So I've already had a few more drinks on top of the ones I had at Shanty. So I've learned now, like, don't drink, or slow down, like just have a couple at Shanty. If I'm going to Rain Dogs, then I may have 1 or 2 there. But in the past, I'd be like, ding, 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 ding. But they're like high noons or something, where they're these little drinks.
Those are those blue and white cans,
yes,
right?
they're vodka. So they're vodka spritzers, kind of. But
See, I'd probably like that.
Oh, you would. They're all natural. The reason why I drink those is because they're healthier than the beer, But I do like beer, but they're tasty. That's the dangerous thing with them.
Yeah.
They don't taste like alcohol.
I had my first White Claw like
No, I wouldn't.
a year ago or something.
Yeah, that's like malt liquor.
It was at Rain Dogs. Since Rain Dogs has started back up was the first time I had one. And I got a mango one. I will say it was pretty.
That is actually their better flavor.
Pretty good.
Yeah,
like,
that's their better flavor.
Yeah.
But White Claw I've had, I think I've had 1 or 2 in my life. I'm just not a fan. Once you have High Noon, because it's vodka, it's not malt liquor.
How are they allowed to do that?
I think it's just the percentage of it. I don't think they can get over a certain percentage of alcohol and then they can sell it like that, like a cocktail drink.
So I was like, this is.
And it's all natural, so even the flavoring is all natural juices, like fruit juices.
Yeah.
I mean, they really sold it to the white women.
Yeah, they got it. Yeah. The branding
They're
of the
like,
can.
California, here we come.
Like the way the can looks and everything is so cool.
Yeah,
like,
but
it's
it is a perfect branding.
Yeah.
Whoever branded High Noon, you guys did great. If you ever watch this, you could sponsor us.
Yeah. I'll start drinking that.
we would totally start drinking it on camera, no problem.
What's your plan for this podcast?
Okay, so I have a couple questions for you because you already talked about.
Not us. I meant like for what this podcast is going to become. Like, what's your?
Oh, well, I want to showcase the Jacksonville comics, but I also eventually want to branch out to other creatives and other even small businesses.
Just
in the
everyone
community.
in general. Yeah.
Yeah, in the community though, but I mean, I really want people I think are doing good, like cool and good things, because I don't think we get a lot of hype here. Like I know a lot of famous comics don't even want to come to Jacksonville.
Yeah, I know.
And I don't blame them. I don't blame them because they probably
From
don't.
the outside looking in.
Yeah, from the outside looking in. But I think when they do finally come here, they're like, oh, they're not so bad. Like it's not. but they're all living in different simulations outside of ours. So,
yeah, exactly.
So it's kind of like giving them some idea of what's actually happening and going on in our city. Because Jacksonville, I mean, I have a love-hate for Jacksonville. Like, I love it, but there's also things I hate about it. But that's in any city.
Yeah, for sure.
That's in any city, really. But I've always felt at home here. Though, even though I'm from New York City, lived in Miami, Jacksonville has always still felt like home to me. So I've lived on and off in Jacksonville, I guess, almost 20 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've been here most of my adult life, really.
I mean, I don't know that many places in the country where you can get on stage as much as you can here.
Well, I'll tell you, LA and all of them.
For sure.
Well, there's mics, but you don't, the chance of getting on there is different because there's a raffle.
Yeah, you're waiting for 300 other people.
Oh my God. Have you ever been to an open mic in LA?
No.
Okay, so I have.
I've never even been there.
I'm going to tell you, it's insane. But the quality of comics
for
too
sure.
are insane. But then random dude who's 65 deciding to go up, he gets the time because it was a raffle. And this guy who's been on Comedy Central, you're not going up, bro. They don't bump people just because you're there. It's literally a fishbowl, and they just pull it out.
You're getting lucky.
And I think that is the best way to do it when there's so many people, like us.
You have to.
Yeah, like us.
Because it'll get like corrupt.
Right. There'll be like 15, 16 of us, here. So yeah, that's gonna take some time, but that's not as bad as like you get 60 people showing up for a mic, and they only have 2 hours to.
Exactly.
Showcase these people. Sorry. There's only going to be 15 comics.
So I'm saying, like, we get on stage. You can get on stage every night.
Yeah.
Monday through Thursday, for sure.
For sure.
Like, there's no doubt about that.
That doesn't mean we want more comics. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, no, I mean.
No, I'm kidding. It
is funny to see, like, the comers and goers.
Yeah.
And you can instantly tell when someone's never coming back. Like, I always.
Oh, really?
I've never been surprised and been like, oh, this person's back. Like.
Well, there's that one kid that comes to Voos Bar that I'm always shocked that he always just comes to Voos Bar. He always, he's done it pretty drunk before. God, what's his name?
He was.
You know who I'm talking about. He always has a notebook, but he only comes to Voos Bar.
Only Voos Bar. Yeah,
I think because he lives around there. But
I don't know.
There's moments where he's really good, and then there's moments he's so wasted. I'm just like, he's rambling, and it's incoherent.
The one mic thing is weird to me because there's a couple people who only do CBD,
right?
And like, it's like, there's other mics. Like, are you
talking about like? Well, Thor used to come out to Rain.
I'm not talking about anyone that you would consider like a comic.
Oh, that actually.
Like,
travels.
I mean, like literally, this person comes to CBD. A couple people come every week.
I think I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
And they only perform there. They have no interest in comedy.
That's like what's weird to me.
That's exactly.
Yeah,
it's
that's weird.
I'm not hating at all. Like, I enjoy what they do when they perform. It's totally free and open, and it's like, it's nice.
But then you have actually working comics or people trying to work who come and they're like, I need time. But
when he does good, like, how do you experience doing well on stage and not want to keep doing that at other places? Like, I don't understand. Because
the whole point too is like, I feel like people don't understand the feeling I think you get when there's a laugh to something. Yeah. I mean, there is some weird validation going on there, and like but the thing is, I just like making people laugh in general. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm obviously more comfortable with the comics, and I say off the wall shit more with you guys than I actually do on stage. I've gotten better about saying that stuff on stage.
Yeah.
Because usually when I am more myself on stage, that's the funny. That's actually the funny.
That's like the goal.
Yeah,
because we are funny.
Yeah,
as ourselves.
Well, I love when you just tear up hecklers. That is like you're so confident in that, because that's one thing I'm always. I don't want to hurt people's feelings, but then sometimes they need to be hurt. Like they need to shut the fuck up.
I used to be like, it was a problem where I'm being mean or whatever, but I'm not like sincere.
No,
at all.
Obviously we're joking.
So obviously I'm joking, right? But I thought everybody knew I was joking. So like the early days of CBD, I thought it, like if someone's talking, I would like yell, shut up. And like, I would like think that was funny. And it never was. And I bombed so fucking hard. so many times where I was like, okay, I can't do this anymore.
I'm laughing because I'm still remembering when you heard somebody say "fuck you" and you're like, "Who fucking wants this?"
Yeah. See, to me, that was the funniest moment for me to watch it.
I thought that was hilarious.
Yes.
Because I go, "That's the shit we would do to each other." And we're like, "Who the fuck?" Is
exactly.
that? Just joking around like that.
Exactly. But I guess I understand. Like, I guess I understand. You see somebody, they're yelling and they're like having a breakdown. Yeah. But like, I'm obviously joking. Like, I'm not literally having a fucking mental breakdown at Voussoir. You know what I mean? Right. Like, it's okay. Like, we're at an open mic. I'm not like, I'm doing this to be funny.
Oh man, but that is so funny to me because that's the shit that we do amongst each other. But like, I just love that you presented it to those people because I think most of them understood you were joking though.
People, every person, like, if I had to do like the top 5 people that I have been the meanest to, they have all like came up to me after and were like, "We did awesome." Like they like
we did awesome.
Yeah, like they wanted that. Like, you know,
they
like,
want the attention though. Those hecklers do want
exactly.
the attention.
Like you get when you're doing that to somebody, if they keep going, then you know. Like there was this one time, this dude threw a bag at me, like his bag of clothes at Shantytown. And like,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he threw his bag of clothes at me.
I must have not been there, but okay.
And I fucking put my cigarette out like on his clothes, and he loved it. He loved it. He like wanted to buy me a drink after. Like it's weird that there's these people who come to these shows who want
to be abused.
They want like, and you see them doing like this one dude at fucking Justice of all places. He was sitting at the corner of the bar and was giving people shit all night, trying to provoke a response from somebody. And I had a shitty day, and I told him I wish you'd die and all this stuff. And he came up to me after, like, loving it. Like it's these people have this weird thing where, and they are correct, they are helping.
Right.
Like, it's bad to say because like if there's audience members listening, they're gonna now go to shows and heckle.
Yeah, please don't.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't at all. But you are helping me if you do it. Like, don't do it to anybody else. But I enjoy that. Like, there's always that one person because that's not what they do, and it's what they think they can do.
So like I've been in situations where I'm listening to a heckler heckle my friend on stage and they won't shut the fuck up, and I get to a point where I tell them, but most people start clapping when I do because also I think being a woman, they don't expect me to just outburst like that, but I usually like, hey, how about you shut the fuck up? You know, like Will Blaylock was performing at Hyperion one time, fucking packed room. And this guy was speaking Spanish. Well, I speak Spanish, motherfucker.
Yeah, dude.
So I just started yelling at him to shut the fuck up in Spanish. They don't understand you, and they don't care to. Like, just shut up. Finally, he left. You know, I was like, how about you fucking leave? And then Will, he's like, yo, you ever see a white woman speak Spanish? I want to know what the fuck they were saying. But he played off of it because he's so good. Will's so good.
Especially off the cuff.
Oh, yeah. But but he even thanked me, though. Because, I mean, the guy kept talking, and Will was like, what? I don't even understand what you're saying, bro. And he's like, what? You know, and I was just like, vete, bro. Like, which is just go. Nobody fucking wants you here. But I said it all in Spanish. And everybody's looking at me and him because he's yelling back at me in Spanish. And I was like, nobody speaks Spanish but me. So you can fucking leave, bro.
Yeah,
like, we don't care to hear you. I don't care to listen to you.
Hasta luego, bitch.
Yeah. And then Chance was with me. And he was like, good job, babe. Like, I was like...
You got like, so I guarantee you everyone in the crowd hated that person. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
they did.
This is so obvious, but you just got to let them hang themselves first.
Yeah,
and
then, they did for a while.
And then boom,
when you shouldn't shut
you
the fuck
snap
up.
and someone's like, finally somebody said something.
Right.
That's like, you got to get it to where, because I used to always, as soon as somebody did something, I'd snap on them.
Right.
And then the crowd's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Why are you doing this? Like,
because they don't know we're used to dealing with dumbasses who are going to continue,
like,
period.
And also, we've been watching this person annoy our friends, too. And I learned that lesson one night. It wasn't me, luckily, but this other comic, I'm not going to say who isn't really, like, a part of our scene that much. Mm-hmm. But there was this guy there in the crowd who was, like, performing, but he wasn't a comic. You know, he was just fucked up.
Yeah.
He was, like... I will say he was one of the most annoying people I've ever been around in my life, you know? He was like a very like West Side white dude, trashy dude who ended up talking about how his mom would like, with his mom there.
Okay.
Like his mom, all of her boyfriends would like molest him and stuff.
And his mom's sitting right next to him.
Like sitting at the bar. Yeah. But he was being super annoying and he had all these chains and he's coming up showing everyone his shit. Like it was ridiculous. So this comic goes, I'm going to beat this dude's ass. You know, like when it's my turn, I'm going to go up there and like I'm going to start shit with him.
Okay.
And I was like, I mean, okay.
Well,
like
why would you?
Why, dude?
Yeah.
You know, like
you don't have material of your own to just
like just go up there and do your 5 minutes, you know.
That's kind of weird.
Like with that mindset.
With that
mindset.
Yeah.
So this dude was not he had no ill intent. The guy who was annoying.
Yeah.
He was just
being
an annoying dude
person,
with all the best of intentions.
Right.
You know, just all the best of intentions, but he could not execute. And he was the worst. But he goes on stage, starts his set, tells one joke, and then says to the guy, you know, why are your shoes so big? Which he's like trying, like it's so stupid, right?
Right.
And the guy says, well, I just wear a bunch of socks, which was like in that time really fucking funny.
It
like,
is funny.
It was so funny.
Instead of saying because I have a big dick, you know,
just,
like
he said I wore a bunch of socks. Like it was like the most random response.
But I loved it.
It was instant.
Right.
It was like, it was almost as if he'd said it before, but there's no way he's ever said that, you know?
Yeah.
And the kid, then everyone laughed and it made him mad. So now...
Yeah, because it's funny.
Because he lost.
Yeah, he lost.
And he starts trying to go after him. And now the whole crowd is like, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
You know? And I was like, he could have, like, the crowd hated the audience member.
Mm-hmm.
That if he would have let that guy heckle him first, he could have said everything that he said.
Right.
But he didn't let that guy fuck up during his set. You got to let that person offend you and the crowd notice it. And then the crowd goes, well, is this person going to defend themselves? Versus you just go shit on this dude.
So so basically he failed.
He failed.
He failed.
And then me and Dean specifically were sitting next to each other. I'll never forget this. Me and him were like gut laughing like very hard. And I didn't mean to say it loud, but like I was trying to say it to Dean. I was like, I cannot believe he just like lost. And then the comic's on stage and he goes, wait, you think I lost? Like, as insecure comics as we all are.
Oh my God.
You cannot let the insecurity show like that.
No.
You've got to fake it. And he was like, you think I lost? Like, what? And like,
unless
asked the
you're
crowd.
making fun of yourself, like you can't get away
like,
with get defensive
so,
like that.
He was so serious. And he was like, he asked the crowd, he's like, you guys think I lost? And the whole crowd's like, yeah, dude.
He could have just said, yeah, I lost. All right, dude, I'll suck your dick later. Make it funny or something.
Literally anything else.
I was like, you're right, CJ, I did lose. I guess I'll suck your dick behind the store
Just
later, bro.
anything
like,
else.
Know, something like, something.
Like you're going to have to. It was so funny because he was so genuine. Like, you think, what? He actually thought he had won. That's what I love about comics. Like the delusional. Like I love a comic who sucks.
Some of them have big egos.
I love a comic who sucks. Like and thinks they like are crushing. That is like
I never think that ever. Ever.
It's so rare that I think
I'll go, yeah, I think it was all right. Unless the comics come up to me and go, hey, I like that. Did you add this? Then I go, oh, I guess I did all right because they noticed.
Yeah, it's just it's also so hard to like take a compliment because you're never gonna. I mean, maybe once you'll have a perfect set, but even like the best set I've had, there's been stuff that I've been like, shit, I wish I could go back and change this one.
Every time I listen to something, I go, fuck, I missed this part. Or why didn't I
no matter how
add
good
that? Or why did I put that first? Like I should have done this part first. Whatever. I just go back and.
I wonder what it's like to film like an hour and you do 2-3 shows, maybe 4, whatever. Mm-hmm. And then you got to go back and like, there's no way that you think it's perfect ever.
Who was
like
it?
how lucky?
I think it was like Chris D'Elia. I think he filmed three of his shows and then they edited them together or something like that.
To pick all the best parts.
Which I think was smart because like, let's say he did the same joke, it's not going to hit as hard.
Yeah.
You know, but like Shane Gillis, did you see his new?
I'm not like some hater of specials. Like, that's not what I'm saying. I just never watch them.
Okay. Shane Gillis, it's on his YouTube.
He's fucking hilarious.
He's hilarious.
Yeah.
His special was filmed by Homeless Pimp Mike or whatever.
Yes,
okay,
yes.
that's what Chris. Anyway, fucking amazing. But also, I think Homeless Pimp, the way he films and edits stuff is also amazing. Like,
yes.
But definitely, I would suggest watching that.
Yeah.
Special because it's on his YouTube. He's had it out now for a while, but
like I'm never against watching it. It's just I really like, and I'm not like trying to be pretentious in any way. I really try to not
listen to other comics
in any way, like be influenced. Like I want everything that I do to be original to me, to where like I know if I watch like Shane will, like, just listening to him on podcast, his vernacular and stuff will get into me. Like if he says dork or something, you know what I mean? Like he's so funny.
I think he's from the South too. So
I think he's from Pennsylvania. But he has.
Is he?
I'm not positive.
Okay.
I don't know.
Maybe you're right.
But he's so fucking funny, and they're also funny that it wouldn't be like I'm stealing from them. Obviously, it's like they're so funny that they're influencing you in a way that like when someone's funny and you are like you think funny, the way they look at the world in their own way, like opens up a different way for you to look at the world. And I don't want to start looking at the world through that lens of
I get it.
You know what I mean?
I get it, but I like there's
he's fucking hilarious.
There's certain comics that I listen to every week, like Sal Volcano and Chris DiStefano, but I listen to them because they're New Yorkers and what they talk about I relate to.
Now podcasts I listen to.
Yeah, their podcasts.
That's all I listen
their
to.
Hey Babe podcast.
Yeah, I listen to that.
Oh God, I love them so much though because they're just they're fucking funny.
So funny.
And it just reminds me of us comics, like when they're just bantering and saying off the wall shit. Nothing they're saying is truly serious.
Yeah.
And I just like, what did DiStefano? He says stuff like,
he says ridiculous.
Yeah, like the Chinese delivery guy. He goes, were you part of the communist country? Are you taking our jobs? Like he was joking with the guy. He's a citizen and everything.
And here's the other thing too. He might not have said any of that. You know what I mean? Like that. He's fun. Like he's funny as fuck.
Yeah.
So whether he really said that or not, it's fucking hilarious, and he's a genius for coming up with it.
Yeah.
If it happened, he's a genius for coming up with it in that moment, and if it didn't happen, he's a genius for coming up with it to tell on this podcast.
Right.
Like that's comedy.
Yeah.
And I get influenced by people. You know what I mean? Like, and
yeah,
it's
no,
not
he does. Yeah, I totally get it.
I listen to all their podcasts.
Yeah.
And I feel like that alone, like, I listen to so many fucking podcasts.
Well, so Jamar and I, like, I just had him on, and
he's one of my best friends.
Right. Yeah. So Jamar and I it's funny because we'll find little clips of other more famous comedians. Like we'll talk about something, and then we see like a similar premise. But I was like, sometimes it's just in the ether, whatever that is, whatever the universe. I don't know. Which actually it rolls me into this question that I'm always going to ask the comics when they come up. But I feel like there is some kind of universal knowledge that we all have. This is my personal belief. Okay, guys, you don't have to believe anything that I believe. But my question to you is, have you ever experienced anything paranormal?
So much stuff.
Oh, yeah? Yay! Right, so this is my favorite part.
This is like getting super... So I grew up like in a haunted house off Scott Mill. And it was like my mom's dream house and everything. And redid it and all this stuff. And like... So many different stories. Like all my best friends growing up all have their own stories of weird shit that's happened to them. We had this guest bedroom that was like the creepiest room where all my friends would sleep. Like I'm talking when we're like 17 and 18. My friends, like men, would go to that guest room to sleep in there, and every single person that's ever slept at my house has came to me and been like, "Can I sleep in your bed with you? That room's creepy as fuck." And that door, we had like that tall or long carpet where you could see. The door would be all the way open. Like the AC could not open it. You know what I mean? And my mom always was like, I don't know why everyone's scared. Like, I feel like it's a good spirit. And my mom died in that house. And the haunting of Hill House, how the girl's haunting herself.
Yes.
Like, if you're a ghost and you can transcend time and you want to, and you're trapped in this house or whatever, wouldn't you go back to like the happiest time of your life when your family was living in this house? And wouldn't you just like be the one I just thought of this like literally a week ago.
Right.
I've always thought it was some creepy spirit.
Right.
And I also have a succubus story for you.
Okay.
But I just had this weird feeling the other day that like ghost thing in my house.
Right. What if it was your mother?
It was just my mom.
Just doing what she would normally
like
do?
If I died, I would want, and I could go back and relive, because who knows what reality is.
Yeah. We don't know what dimension. Like there's all kinds of planes of existence possibly. Yeah.
Like, I know for a fact that's when my mom was at her happiest. I know that.
Right.
And that's like when I feel like she would want to go and relive.
Can I ask you a question though? Like, did you ever look into the history of the house before you guys moved in?
Because it was like that creepy that we did. And no one's ever died there or anything. It's an old house in the sense of 1950 it was built. But it was two different, like the house is very long. Mm-hmm. So there's like the main part of the house, and then there was this like breezeway that was converted into like a part of the house, so it looks like one solid house.
Oh, okay.
But initially it was a house, a breezeway, and then an apartment.
Okay.
And like the house just had all this creepy stuff. Like everyone had weird vibes there, but it's like the creepiest thing. When I was a kid, there was like I was fascinated with The Exorcist because my parents would never let me watch it.
Right.
So I walked, because I lived by Barnes & Noble, I walked to the bookstore and bought The Exorcist. Yeah.
Oh, God.
So I was reading it, and I'm like, and I'm not even like into like religion like this. Mm-hmm. And I was reading it, and I got super creeped out. So I'm like laying in my room.
Intense.
It's super intense. Mm-hmm. Especially I was in 6th grade.
Especially if you're reading it, because now your brain is just
you're
going
thinking
on
of
to
all
kinds of stuff. Yeah.
All the creepy shit. And I was in 6th grade.
Yeah,
you know?
you shouldn't have.
It's so dumb. I can't believe they sold me that book.
I can't either.
So I'm like, I get creeped out, and I grab this cross that I had, and I was like holding it above me. I swear to God, the like nail that was in Jesus's foot fell out and landed right here on my neck. It didn't stab me or anything.
Right, but it just...
But the cross, his hands are like this. So he like went like this and like faced me, right? And I was like, what the fuck? And I was
you're in 6th grade?
6th grade. And I was also living in like on an air mattress. The story I tell about whacking off next to my grandma is true. Because at that time, we lived on 2 acres. So like they're building a house in the backyard.
Right.
So our house is like, it was weird. I was sleeping just like basically on the floor.
Right.
Or I was sleeping in the living room. So I freaked out, and like I ran out, and everybody woke up and stuff. And then the next day, they all went to Costco, and I woke up at like 11 or something to my dogs barking, like going crazy, and what sounded like pots and pans hitting, like it was like like chaos.
Right.
I'm freaking out. I'm like, what the fuck? And I didn't know everyone was gone at this point. And like I wake up, and I'm like looking everywhere, and there's this like chaos noises going on. And my dog is barking at what would become my bedroom eventually. The door was closed because that's where my grandpa slept. And the noise was coming from in that room. But on the other side of that far wall is the kitchen. So I thought they were in the kitchen like fucking around or something.
Right.
But the dog's barking at the door. So I opened the door. And as soon as I opened the door, it all just stopped. And then like later on in my room, like when all those people, like all my like friends would come sleep with me in bed, like not like I grew up in a different time where like dudes didn't like sleep together like that. Like you did, but like not if it's already established that you're sleeping.
Sleeping in another room.
Yeah, like I slept with all my friends.
Right.
But it's like not when it's established that you're sleeping in the other room,
Right.
And we would be like freaked out next to each other, looking in like the corner, like what the fuck is that? Like it always felt terrible, which makes me think it's not my mom, because sometimes it felt terrible.
Right.
Then this one time I tripped, the one time I've ever tripped, like hard, and there was like these like in my house these like demon ghost things flying around, and it was just weird.
Right. No, I know.
So my house was like super creepy, to where like there's I had an As I Lay Dying CD, whatever, And me, my dad, and my friend went to go hit balls at the golf range. We come back, and it's just playing full volume in my room, which like,
yeah,
they're a Christian band or what, but that dude ended up killing his.
Yes, yeah.
I'm not saying like I think it was just, that was the creepiest music I had available.
Right.
And it was playing at full volume, like when we came home. It was on the first song.
So there was enough weird shit for your parents to go, okay, something is here for sure. Like,
oh yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't like, oh, this kid's making up stories. They experienced their own stuff.
The door that would open like that, even if our dogs opened it, it was all the way open. You know what I mean?
No dog's gonna all the way open.
You could see the carpet dragged. Like,
right.
It would, like, to open it all the way took actual force.
Effort, yeah.
And it was like that all the time. All the time. Probably 4 or 5 times a week. Like, no bullshit.
Your dad doesn't live there anymore, though?
No. So my grandpa's a piece of shit. Like, the house was supposed to be basically, obviously the grandparents were supposed to die first. And then that house in the back becomes my mom's and my dad's. Mm-hmm. In terms of like when they sell the property, they get the money for it.
Right.
After my mom died, my grandpa, like at the funeral, is like, I want my money. My dad doesn't have $200,000 to just give him.
Yeah, right.
So he had to sell the house to give him his money. So like now the house is just gone.
Oh.
And it would, like, my dream, if I ever make it in comedy, I'm buying that house.
Right.
Because it's a sick house. Mm-hmm. It's creepy, but
you love the house. So.
I love that. Like, it's exactly what my mom wanted. But you could always
probably get it cleaned out. You know, like clear out.
Yeah.
I'd help you with that. Let me know. Because I was like, you don't want to, excuse me. I'm sorry, I dropped shit. You don't want to like have to deal with that really. But tell me about the succubus thing. Because like I've had a personal similar experience. I think some people call it succubus, but I've been held down before and stuff.
That is fucking terrifying to me. Mm-hmm. I've never had anything like that.
Oh, okay.
I had like a physical. So I used to date this girl, and she didn't smoke. And across the street from her was this kid that I grew up with, and we would smoke weed together our entire lives. So I would hang out at her house, and then I would leave, and me and him would smoke, and then I'd go home. And it was right on Hartley. She lived in Anchorage. You know what I'm talking about? Okay. Yeah. And I lived right there on Claire Lane and Scott Mill. So this is super close. Mm-hmm. So I leave her house, smoke. And I say smoke because I'm like being honest and saying maybe this was some weird reaction thing. Right. But everything I'm about to tell you is 1,000% fucking true. So I leave. I turn onto Hartley. And I get to the red light to turn left onto San Jose. And a car pulls up behind me. And it was a white FJ Cruiser. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Not like a very common car.
Right. No.
Exactly. And this is like 2010.
I was going to say, it's like also in that time period.
It just came out.
Yeah.
This is in 2010. So I'm like not thinking anything of this car being behind me, you know? So I take a left, and I'm a very slow driver, and I'm in the far right lane, and there's no one on the road. It's like 2:30 in the morning. Right. And this car will not like get from behind me. And I'm like, that's so weird. So then I speed up a little bit, and I'm like, I'm going to turn onto Claire Lane. And if they turn onto Claire Lane, I'm turning my lights off. I'm going as fast as I can. Right. So I turn onto Claire Lane, and I look, and they're fucking turning onto Claire Lane. And Claire Lane's probably a little under a mile long. So I punch it, turn my lights off. And my house, like, you turn onto Scott Mill, and there's a house on the corner, and then my house. And it's dark as fuck. Right. Like, it is so creepy. So I'm hauling ass. I pull into my driveway, and I park, and the fucking motion light turns on. So I'm like, motherfucker. And I see the car get to the stop sign, and I'm just sitting there in my, I was actually in my mom's car, and I was sitting there, and like, I see him coming through the rear view, and it turns, and it fucking turns into my driveway, okay? And I'm like, what the fuck is about to happen right now? I'm the most afraid I've ever been in my life. Right. Like, I've not seen what this person looks like yet. Right, you don't even know. Yeah. I'm assuming all the worst things, you know? So I'm sitting there like,
terrified. I'm a woman, so I know this is...
I'm like... And also,
I'm always making up scary stories in my head.
Me right now is the biggest I've ever been in my life. Like, this is like me, the biggest by 15 pounds. Right. Like, I'm massive compared to who I was then. Right. So I had no chance. I'm so fucking scared. And like I'm looking and I like see her, I turn around and it's like a hot girl. And I'm like, oh, thank God, you know, like, fuck yeah. And she's like, I'm still scared though, because she's just like looking at me. Just not like, she's not stopping looking at me, you know? So now I'm confident, you know? But I'm scared, but I don't have that like bad feeling that I eventually get. So I step out of the car and I'm like,
yeah.
Hey.
What are you doing?
The fuck you doing?
Yeah.
And she gets out of the car without stopping looking at me. So she's like, gets out of the, you know?
Oh no.
Yeah. And then I see her and she is like so hot in that like kind of that way that girl we were talking about before this is hot.
Yeah.
In that like evil goth way.
Right,
you know what I
right.
mean? And like super eyelinered out and shit. And I was like, what's going on? Like you're like actually scaring me right now, because now I'm scared.
Right.
Because when I saw her like looking at me.
But did you say that to her?
That's exactly what I said.
Okay.
Yeah. I was like, I'm scared. Like I was shaking.
Right.
I was like, what's going on? And she's like, you don't remember me? And I was like, okay, like I used to get so fucked up on like Xanax and stuff. So I was like, okay, maybe we met at a party and you like, I don't remember you, but I'm sorry, but no, I don't. Like, what's your name? And she's like, no, like you remember me. And I was like, okay, what's your name? She says, Sam. And like, I know 2 Sams and it's not her,
right.
you know? I was like, and that's actually what I told her. I was like, I know 2 Sams. I'm sorry. And I'm just thinking I blacked out.
Right.
Sorry. So I'm like, I don't remember you. What's like, are you going to leave, you know? And she starts like getting angry. Like, she's like, you don't remember me? I'm not trying to talk to her.
No,
like,
you're fine.
She's like, you don't remember me?
Right,
and I'm like, no. Like, and she like had her keys in her hand. She like slapped her like thighs, you know? She was wearing this like black dress. And she's like was angry and insisting that I knew her. And insisting that it wasn't because I was like, look, I'm sorry I don't remember you. I get fucked up sometimes. Like, this isn't, like, if I told you that we were in love and all, like, I'm, like, trying to justify all these things that I'm just creating in my mind.
Right, because
like,
you don't know what you said. Plus, you're a dopey kid at the time, yeah.
And she's like, that's not what it is. And I was like, okay, well, like, look, I don't know who you are. We're having a mix-up. I was like, I don't know if you're fucking with me.
Right.
And, like.
But you're on my property, bitch.
Yeah, I was like, can you just leave?
Right.
And she's like, you're not like gonna let me come inside.
Oh no.
And I was like, are you joking? She's like, no, like let me come inside. And now I'm like, I had a gate, like I have a very long yard at that time. And we had like, you pulled into our driveway and it wasn't gated, but to get to our house you had to go through a little gate.
Yeah.
So like I'm walking towards that gate and like I grab it and she's like, you're gonna let me in. And I was like, all right, you're like freaking me out. There's no fucking way I'm letting you in. Like, fuck no. And she's like super angry, gets in her car, like peels out, like, you know, fucking drives way off fast. And I get to the door and my dogs were like
already there.
Like they were losing it. My dad was at the door. He's like, the fuck was that? Thinking I was like
doing something crazy in the yard.
And I get in trouble for it and all this bullshit, you know? And so I was also I'm very scared, obviously. And my TV stopped working like probably 2 weeks before that in my room. And my friend was sleeping over and the TV literally was like turning on and turning off all by itself to the point where we like took the controller, put it here. So I unplugged it. I think the TV is broken. So I'm sleeping in that creepy room so I can watch TV. So I go from being scared by that succubus to making munchies and going into that room. And that night, I had such scary dreams about like the devil and being possessed and stuff, like in that room, that I went into my parents' room as an 18-year-old
and slept in
who had just moved back in from like dropping out. And I was like, I have to sleep in here. Like, I'm so fucking scared right now. And then they like obviously let me. Right. But like that, like I had crazy dreams.
So what do you think? You know, she almost sounds like a vampire or something, that like where she has to be invited in. But also,
I think a succubus also does, but I don't know. I feel like you would know.
Succubus, I feel like they come to you in dreams, or they take your energy from like fucking you or something like that, you know. But It also sounds like maybe she knew what that house was. Almost like
God,
she wanted
I hate that.
You know what I'm saying? Like she wanted to get it in the house. Because you said she was goth looking?
Yeah.
So I was going to ask you too about the house, like if you thought any kind of weird rituals were ever done in that house or seances, because even if nobody died there.
I'm so scared right now. Like I just watched Hereditary like 2 weeks ago.
I know, I heard you talking about
I'm
that.
obsessed with that movie right now.
Well, Chance told me it was so creepy, but I'll have to watch it now because
I'm not about to cry of like emotion. I'm like so scared right now.
Well, I mean, the thing is, like, if you think about it, I mean, it sounds like maybe somebody did something in the apartment at one point.
The whole house was so fucking scary.
Right.
Like we had this.
But what if it's the property itself?
Boom. So it's 2 acres and there was woods in there and it just always felt creepy. Like I remember one night, me and my 2 friends, we like had gone skateboarding all day and stuff, and now it's nighttime and I had like woods and stuff.
Right.
So he's like, let's go hunting for snakes.
Right.
Which that's literally my biggest fear of all time. So we go out there and I'm too chicken to be like, no, I don't want to.
Right.
We go out there and within probably 10 minutes of being out in my backyard and in the woods and stuff, they were creeped out and like, let's not do this.
So they had those weird
God damn
vibes.
it.
Well, the thing is too, if it's Native American land or something too, and like if it was taken away.
It's 1,000% was all orange groves and like slave shit.
Yeah.
And this is Mandarin, like.
So that, if it's slave stuff, it could be voodoo.
Yeah. It could be all sorts of creep.
The voodoo could, be protecting the land or whatever. I mean, the thing is you probably need an offering or something so that it doesn't fuck with you. But it's something in particular in that room though. I mean, if it's just like that
That room is so fucking scary. Like it's hard to, it's not that hard to explain. Everyone knows what I'm talking about. But like that room in particular was.
Something was definitely up in that room.
Yeah. Yeah. God dang.
I just feel like it's something.
That type of person, so, like fucking scares me so much.
Yeah, that
they will like
delves into that stuff.
I just watched like so many YouTube videos on Hereditary and stuff.
Yeah.
Like these cults, like
they're legit. I mean,
they will sacrifice you through like you without even knowing and like orchestrate events in your life and like. I don't like any of that shit.
Well, there's
dude.
one.
And it's also real.
There's a story I heard from this guy that he was told to do this job. Like he had to be at a particular spot at a particular time. And he was telling the dispatcher, like, why can't so-and-so do it? And they go, well, they requested you particular. And she said, you must be there exactly at this time. And he said when he got there, he noticed the door was open. And then he noticed they were doing something in the house, like a ritual. And out of nowhere, the lady turned to him and goes, you go into him now, like follow. And he goes, fuck this shit. And he left. He called dispatch and he said, hey, they just did some weird shit. I didn't even step in the house. Well, after that, his house started having weird stuff, and he had filmed, like you could see a being come out of the side. Like it's God. All like dark, like shadow thing.
Yeah.
So it turns out like they were doing some kind of what is it called? Like The Exorcist, but they're excising the spirit from the house, but to make them attached to somebody else.
Yes.
And that was so fucked up. So that's what it turned out, that the lady only called some random guy to show up. So I was like, that is so fucked though. Like, could you imagine?
This is like
you just doing your job and somebody walks in.
It's like exactly Hereditary, basically.
Oh, really?
Except like, okay, so I'm not spoiling anything necessarily.
It's years old. People should have watched it already.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like way late to this party.
Yeah.
The grandmother was like the queen of the cult.
Right.
And her job was to like, so she's the queen, so her family, one of her kids, like the first male, is supposed to be like for king payment, whatever the cult is.
Right.
Like their job on earth is to put a demon inside of a body so that they can have all the rewards of hell.
Right.
So they don't have to suffer in hell. They can be his queen or whatever. And like that is, I don't necessarily believe in like heaven and hell and shit like that, but negative shit
in general is just, that's why when you were saying stuff about the seance to those kids, I was like, do not do that. Don't do that.
They wanted to so bad.
Yeah, I was like, what are you fucking doing? Why are you fucking around with that shit? Like, unless you know how to protect yourself in the right way, most of these kids don't fuck
There's
around
no way
with
they
that
know
shit.
how. Yeah.
Don't fuck around with that shit, because if they don't even believe it's real, they're just fucking around. How are they going to believe they're really protecting themselves? Like, you have to believe that what you're doing is real, or that and it will manifest. That's why I think this is a simulation. Whether it's really happening or not, shit happens. Paranormal stuff happens.
Yeah.
But CJ, we're almost out of time here. I appreciate you being here,
it's so
man.
much fun.
Yeah, no, and of course we'll have you back for sure. But thanks for watching, guys. We'll see ya.
Bye. Thank you. That was so fun.
You've just listened to the Los Rotos Podcast. Produced by Upside Down Creative Media.